Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your girlfriend Vanilla here, and today I'm going to be looking at the brand new feature on Geoguessr called Analytics. Analytics can be found on the right side of the screen, so under your little icon, and you go down to the Analytics tab. It currently says new because it was only released yesterday as of the day I'm recording this, but you can find it there if you want to look at the analytics for your own performance. But today I'm just going to go through some of the features of this new tab and kind of show you guys some of those stats of my guesses and stuff. But let's jump straight into it and kind of explore what this new analytics page looks like together. So, this is the first thing we see is we see this globe and we see these stats on the right. So, looks like this globe, generally the color, pattern or scheme is, it leans more towards green if you're more accurate with those guesses for those countries or areas. And it leans more towards red or oranges if it's a lower accuracy or score. Let's just look at this green one for an example. So, US outlying islands looks like I have 100% accuracy. For two guesses, so 4.996 average score. I think that's probably, what is this? Can't see what this is. Is it NMI ever? I don't know. I'm not sure without the label on it. It just says US outer islands, which is kind of interesting, I guess. But we've got a lot of reds in Russia, which, yeah, not great at region guessing there. And what's this red dot here? Okay, Kuwait. I think also it includes, at the default, single player and multiplayer dual maps. So I play a lot of maps. I've played 2069 before, where it has countries or locations for every country in the world. So if you see dots in countries that aren't typically in duels, that is also why. Here's a look at the default filters that are on when you first go into the analytics page. So we have move mode, and it has all of the options selected at first. We have game mode, which has all the options for both single player and multiplayer. And then we have maps for world maps and other maps. And I think world maps are the ones for the country streaks. I could be wrong. And then right here on the right, you have the score bar, which you can use to lower, if I only want to look at my bad guesses under 1,000 or something like that. And it shows you where you've gotten under 1,000 over the whole world. But let's take a look at what it just kind of looks like for default settings for me first. So for the whole world, I have a region accuracy of about 81%. My average score is about 3.3K, which I think if it's out of 5K, right? I don't think that's too bad. Honestly, I think I'd be interested to see how that changes with duels and with single player maps, because there are a lot more unofficial coverage and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel the single player for me is probably bringing it down, but we can look later. My most common mix-up is Canada and US, which, yeah, I could kind of see that, because I feel there's times if I'm playing No Move or NMPZ, maybe I'm oh, this feels like US or Canada, but I don't see anything that concrete tells me one country or the other, so I'll hedge near the border. My toughest regions, so Palestine and Montenegro, and my best regions are Andorra and Curacao, which, okay, getting those 100% of the time. Curacao is definitely because there's a black front of the car, so very recognizable, and Andorra is just because it's Andorra. I feel I'll throw up a picture of what Andorran architecture looks like, but yeah, I think it's just very recognizable when you see it. It doesn't come up too often. But let's take a look at the second part. So here we have the stats going back from January 3 to June 12th. So not the whole lifetime of Geoguessr if you've been playing for many years or something like that. But we can see my average, daily rolling average. So some days we get 2, 3K. Some days we do a lot worse at 2.4. And we're kind of peaking around a 3.5 average, which I think is pretty valid and fair, because if I'm playing duels, I'm not necessarily trying to get the 5K every time. I feel 3.5K or 3.3K average overall, that's fairly fair. Next up we have matches history. So it shows 3 of your most recent duels. Now I haven't played duels in over 2 weeks, so these ones are kind of old. You can see they were on 5/21. I think I'm a couple points below my ELO peak. I think that's why I stopped playing, because I played a lot of duels in that week at that point. But you can look at your 3 most recent matches here. And then here at the bottom, I think this is a feature that a lot of people are going to use or want the most. This is called mix-up practice. So it shows you your most common region mix-ups, and then if you click into it, sometimes you should be able to get into a game where you're able to look around and practice, is it Canada or US? Now I'm going to play no move, because I feel moving is if I'm moving, usually I can find information that tells me US or Canada. So we're just going to guess here based off no move. And let's say, for example, I think it's the US, right? It just has like the outline of the country. You don't need to get like a region guess or 5K or whatever. You just click Canada or US here. So I'll go US, and we were correct. And it looks like it's kind of like country streaks, which this is Canada or US. I'm a little confused. Looks like Antarctica. I don't know. Super, super flat. I mean, like, it could be Alaska, but it could also just be like really far north in Canada. So let's go Alaska/US here. Okay, I was wrong. It was Canada, and we were in like all the way north in Manitoba. So clearly something I've gotten wrong before. But very cool feature, and one that I'll be using in the future more when I'm not like discussing just like the overall, like what the analytics tab looks like. And we can see the summary here. My streak ended at 1 country. So I'm wondering almost if this like practice page takes the rounds that you got the countries wrong, or if it's just like general US or Canada rounds. Because I don't particularly remember either of these, but I mean, I've probably played like hundreds of games in the past 6 months, so like if not thousands. I don't remember every single round. Okay, so we're back to the Learning Hub. So that's kind of like the overall view for what it looks like in the Analytics tab, like just for the default settings. So let's go into maybe some more of the specific stats so you can see how things change or whatever. So let's go only moving, because moving is definitely the mode I play the most. So curious to see how this changes when I'm playing like the mode that I play the most. Okay, region accuracy. So region accuracy for moving for me, 89.4%, average score 3.8, locations played 6.4K. Most common mix-up, Russia and Ukraine. Toughest regions, Palestine and Eswatini. Best regions, Japan and Paraguay. Paraguay is probably 100% because of the truck. If I see the truck, I get it. Japan... yeah, I mean, Japan is like, I feel like it's because it's got like pull plates, something I probably often look for, language, maybe domain if I get to it, but, also those like stripe things on the pole, so like the pole guards or whatever. So those kind of help me to identify Japan in general, so pretty cool that it's on 100%. I wasn't sure of that. I don't think it's 100% for no move though, because I had a game the other day where I think I went Taiwan and Japan, but... Anyway, okay, so this is like what my world looks like for just moving. Average score seems to be higher than the average for just like overall. Probably because this is my best mode, around 3.8K with even like spikes above 4,000. So whatever I was doing on May 14th, you know, I was kind of cooking there. Something I didn't talk about for the overall thing I probably should have talked about. So we have this guessing profile next to our average score trend. So there's 5 like facets to this guessing profile. There's region accuracy, consistency, hedge factor, on the map, and precision. So we can see precision is very low. It's at 34%. So precision is percentage of rounds where you scored 4.5 thousand or more points. On the map is percentage of rounds where you scored at least 1,000 points. Okay. Yeah, usually not doing too horrible with moving, but you know, there's the occasional 4% where I'm very low. Maybe like a wrong continent or something. Hedge factor. Okay, so this is how close you guess to the country center relative to the country size. High equals hedging, low equals pinpointing. Okay, so relative to the country size. So my score is pretty low. So maybe I'm closer to pinpointing than hedging in most countries. Like, I wonder if it's like brought up by any like specific country itself. Okay, consistency is 55, which is kind of mid. How stable your scores are. Low variance equals high consistency. Yeah, not a super high consistency because I know things in Geoguessr, but then yeah, as I learn new things I've learned before kind of go out the window sometimes. But that's kind of like the learning process in general. So sometimes I'll forget things I've learned. It happens. Region accuracy is 89% though. I feel like that's pretty good. So percentage of rounds where you guess the correct region, that probably is mostly from like when I know the country, like do I get the information I need? And moving, for example, like for Brazil, it's like, do I get the area codes I know? Or for Japan is like, can I get to a pole that shows me like the region of Japan? Because if you look at the plates on the pole, you can see where you are based on like the number pattern on there. As your 3 most recent matches in the history again, so that's the same. And we have mixed up practice again, so Russia and Ukraine. So let's go through this just so we can get another look at what this mix-up practice looks like and see if we can get a better streak in US Canada. No blur on the car, and there's an antenna, so I'm guessing Russia. Okay, We already lost, but let's play this one more time. Hopefully I can get a better score. No. Okay. Oh wait, there's a little bit of red in the back of the car. I think that means Ukraine, right? Okay, one more time. I swear, last one. Okay, this looks like Russia above Mongolia, so I think there's no world where this is Ukraine. Yeah, okay. And it was kind of above Western Mongolia. See, like, there's certain things I can recognize and there are certain things I cannot, but I mean, that's just like Geoguessr in life in general, right? You're just gonna be good at some things and not good at others. Blur is like over some of the antenna. Honestly, I feel like this feels more like Ukraine, right? Okay, cool. We're at 2. Doing better than the first 2 tries. Ooh, we're on this like muddy pathway and forest and stuff. Low-key, I would submit this for like flooded world in like CG's like Discord servers, so maybe I'll save that link for later and send it there. But yeah, holy puddle. Okay. Ooh, very mountainous. I feel like this cannot be Ukraine, right? This has to be like, I feel like it's like really far east in Russia, but I could be wrong. Okay, we're kind of near Lake Baikal. So like not super far east because Russia is like very wide, but further over than like, yeah, over here. Okay, so yeah, that was never Ukraine there. I think these are Russian bollards, but yeah, no red back of the car. I think those, yeah, I think, and the road is also like nicer pavement because I think some of the pavement from the coverage we see in Ukraine is not as well kept up. We'll go Russia. Okay, perfect. Ooh, red back of the car. That has to be Ukraine, right? Amazing. I'm playing this in no move. I could be playing this in moving because it's a moving map, but I feel like it's probably more interesting if I just like play no move or even NMPZ. I'm not sure here. Maybe I feel like it could be either. I'll go Ukraine. Okay, cool. Ooh, more puddles. No antenna. This one's a little bit more difficult, I guess, because, yeah, nothing about the car to look at, which I know. Like, I'm not, like, the greatest with car metas, but it does help a little bit if I can remember it. Let's go Russia. I feel like that's just, like, yeah, okay, we were in Russia above Mongolia. Red back of the car, so we go Ukraine. I think this is Russia, like, Holy Mountain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and this one was really far east, okay. Because I was going to say, it almost looks like northern, like, Japan or something with the mountains. So I'm getting a little bit quicker at it, but I think we've had this round already, so maybe we're getting repeats. Okay, so maybe it does pull from rounds where I've just went, like, wrong country on, like, you know, Ukraine or Russia or the mix-up or whatever, because that was a repeat round, so it's not just pulling from, like, a regular, like, map or something like that, I think. So we'll click this. Okay, well, I was wrong there, apparently. Well, I guess it's a natural end to the streak. I was gonna leave probably after that anyway, but game's a game. Okay, so that's what country streaks looks like. So that was my moving statistics, so let's look at no move and NMPZ. All right, so this is no move. So no move, my region accuracy is 75.9%. My average score is 2.6, which is super low. And locations played is 3.2K. So that's actually a decent amount of locations. Most common mix-up is Canada and US, which I think is the same as my overall. My toughest regions are Ireland and Estonia, which are RP. Best regions are Ghana and Botswana. Ghana is definitely that black tape. Botswana, like, have I really gotten 100% on no move? It's kind of interesting. Okay. But here's what my little globe looks like for no move. Oh, I forgot. You can do flat mode too if you don't want to look at, like, you know, the spinning globe. Like, if this is easier. Not saying the Earth is flat. It's just, like, a different way to visualize the data. We got a lot of green over here in Kazakhstan and Mongolia, though. So, woohoo. Love to see that. But yeah, this is what flattened globe look like. I'll keep it on globe. Okay, so best regions over here. Average score trend. So yeah, not so hot on some of the days, but that is okay. I think most of this is from single player maps. I don't play, like, a ton of, like, no move duels. So I don't think like, yeah, it'll show that here. Guessing profile. Okay, so we have region accuracy 76, consistency is a lot lower, 32, hedge factor is 26, on the map is 74, and precision is 15, so very low precision there. Matches history, so it looks like it only shows your 3 most recent duels regardless of what mode it is, because I'm currently only selected no move, I think. Yeah, but it's showing my 3 most recent moving duels, so... mixup practice is canon in US. I'm not going to go through that again because I think that's something I'll do in my own time since I'm kind of just showing like what the stats page and everything looks like. But if you'd like to see more mixup practice for like any of the modes or whatever in the future, let me know down below. Okay, so that is kind of it for NM. Let's go into NMPZ, which should be interesting as well. So not as many locations placed, 773. Region accuracy is 44%, so we can see a sharp drop in the accuracy there. Average score is 2.2. Toughest regions are Kazakhstan and Portugal, which in NMPZ, yeah, I guess like if I don't see like, you know, the truck for Kazakhstan, like it's a little bit hard to tell. Portugal, I've probably gone like Spain or something maybe on it. Can we click into the actual round? Oh god, I went Austria and Portugal. I don't know what that round looks like, but that is such an interesting guess. Oh, this is something I'm like learning new things as like I go through each of these and click on them, but you can click on individual guesses and it can show you where you guess. So let's look at a particularly bad one. On NMPZ, on DR, I went Nigeria. Wow, that is awful. But if you're curious to see like how bad some of your guesses are, I guess you can click on the individual ones and see where in the world you guessed for some of them. Let's look at a good one. We've got an Iceland guess where I'm green. And where did I guess? If I click on the little dot, sometimes it's a little bit hard to click on the dot. I guessed 45 kilometers away, so that is pretty good there. Okay, so it brings up the individual country stats if you click on one of your like, you know, guesses to see where you guessed. Let's look at the weekly stats. So average score trend, so it varies a lot. It looks like we got like 2.3K, 3K, 2.4. Ooh, spiking at 3.7 up here in March 20th. So whatever I was doing that day, kind of cooking. Ooh, reaching a low of like 1.6, which is really not good for NMPZ. And then yeah, kind of just like running out by 2.1. And we can see like a lot different numbers here. So we have a higher on the map percentage than I was expecting, 67, but everything else is kind of super, super low. Precision is 10, hedge factor is 16, consistency is 31, region is 44. So we can see a sharp drop in my skills when it goes from moving to NM to NMPZ. But that's why you have like a main mode and other ones you need to work on. So something I will hopefully be bringing up the stats for in the future. And we have mixup practice Canada and US. So, but I've seen before in some of like the other people, like in other Discord servers or in like Reddit or whatever like that, they've posted they've had like 3 countries there before. So I don't really know what mixup practice looks like if you have like 3 countries in this bottom area, but for all my modes, I have 2 there. So that is kind of just like an overall view of what the analytics page looks like and the features that I've explored through it so far. So if there's anything I'm missing, please let me know, or if there's any other ways I should be using this analytics page, then also comment that down below. And if you'd like to see me do more like mix-up practice for any specific mode, or if you'd like to see any different like combination of the features, like if you want to see just like my really terrible guesses, like we go 1,000 below for all modes, let me know that down below too, but that is going to be it for today. So thank you so much for watching this video of me exploring the new analytics feature in Geoguessr. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down below. Thank you so much again for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to French Vanilla, and have a great day.